All right, Coldwell Banker, the brand. Everybody knows Coldwell Banker.
Everybody knows Coldwell Banker.
And why does it matter that you're with the right company and market share? We're going to talk about all that in today's video.
All really important.
Okay, before we start our topic of today, which is Coldwell Banker, the brand, why it matters, and how it relates to market share for a benefit for clients, we want to ask you for your business.
Of course.
If you're a buyer or a seller, I know we a lot of times ask for your sellers, your listings, and we want to give you the equity update on your property, but we want to work with buyers too.
We work with both. So you can reach me anytime on my cell phone. I'm 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at 941-586-2460.
And you can call or text me at 941-544-7690. So, okay, let's just dive right in.
Coldwell Banker, the brand.
Why would a seller care?
Who they work with? Well, I mean, look, if you're in especially if you go over $1 million price point, you really need to have an agent that, one, has transacted properties, but also a brand that understands that market, that understands what needs to be done to sell that market, but also that has a volume of listings and a volume of buyers. Why is that important? Well, if they have the listings and those sellers sell, they're generally going to immediately pivot over to buy something. If you're working with an agent or a tiny little, Joe Smith brokerage, they're not going to have those listings and they're not going to have those buyers. So you have a much better opportunity of your agent already having a buyer for your place to plug right in if you're working with a large brand. Now, there's lots of large brands. There's 3, 4, 5 of them here in town that are at the top. Our next competitor, by the way, Coldwell Banker was number one. We did the most volume by over $500 million. We beat our next competitor. So it's not even close. I don't want to badmouth anybody, but our next competitor is not even within $500 million of where we are at.
And we actually have less agents.
We have less agents and way more volume. So I think that the numbers also get even more skewed if you just look at $1 million and more price points. Coldwell Banker tends to dominate the luxury space. So
especially Longboat. I mean,
Longboat, Siesta, Key.
The barrier islands we excel at, and that's sort of what our expertise is.
Sure, 100%. Right. 100%.
Did you know too? And this speaks volumes that Coldwell Banker is actually the most established, longest owned and operated real estate company
in
North America.
How long has it been around for?
Since 1906.
It's a long time.
117 years in business. So I think that alone speaks volumes. I think RE/MAX has been around a really long time, but I think we need to get them beat, right?
Well, and I think something that's interesting to note, Sotheby's, again, one of our competitors, but they're actually owned by our company.
Right, Realogy.
Realogy, I always say it wrong. Realogy owns Home and Garden. They own Sotheby's, they own Coldwell Banker, but Coldwell Banker's been around the longest. So.
Yeah. So we have offices in 39 countries and territories. Guess how many agents?
How many agents do we have? I have no idea.
100,000.
We have 100,000 agents.
Realtors around the world. And for our clients, and we touched on this in our end of market video, the power of the brand being so global that we have all of these agents around the world at our access and our fingertips, and we can compare market notes, and that helps each other in individual markets, and that just helps our clients as well, because we're so in tune, not just with our market, but people are moving, coming and going, ebbing and flowing from markets outside of ours, so it's good for us to understand their markets.
Well, in Sarasota, if you went back 25 years, it wasn't the most diverse community, but we really are becoming an international hub, and we are having buyers from Europe, from South America, from, all over the world. And so how does an agent who's working with Joe Smith Realty that has 3 or 4 agents, how are they connecting with people on the other side of the world? Regularly on the other side of the world. How is your listing, if you're listing with them, getting seen in Europe? The answer is it isn't. So the only way you can do that is if you have that global reach. When we list something, especially if it's a global luxury property, that property gets pushed out all over the world to all of our agents.
Not only that, but we have the powers that be, the techies behind the scene, right, that understand the algorithm of where the buyers are coming from, and we can't forget the local buyers, right?
Right.
So we have, we have such a reach, and we have that brand behind us, and they spend money on marketing and finding out where the buyers are, and then so we're on top of that too.
Right.
So while we are international, we just never forget
Our local buyers
our
as well.
neighbors.
Right.
Yeah, because that is where, I don't know what the numbers are right now, but maybe 50% of our transactions are from the
Local.
state.
I would say so.
In-state.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Right. And
Like-
so, but when there are shifts like that, when you're with a brand such as Coldwell Banker, we know when those are changing, and then therefore how to target your listing accordingly.
100%.
According to the changes in the marketplace.
Yep.
Yeah. The other thing is we have 9.5 million visits to coldwellbankerhomes.com per year.
That's a lot.
What does that tell you?
You have
Sorry for the truck. We've got some activity today. Hope you can hear us.
I mean, what it tells you is that your property, if you're listing with us, is going to get seen.
Right.
So if at the end of the day, I tell people, if you want to make this as easy as we can on a listing, all that matters is how many people can we get into your house to look at it, and those people will talk to friends and family of theirs. It's getting eyeballs on the property. Well, if you have 9.6 million people coming to the website, you have quite a reach. You have a lot of people seeing that property.
Right. And anytime we take a listing, again, hope you can hear me, guys. Sorry, it's loud today. If we take a listing, we get the insights or the online impressions, and those come into play as well.
Right.
For, okay, all of these other eyeballs are on your property, even if the showings are X amount of actual physical showings. Look at all these other people that it reached, right, from our technology that we send those out to our clients weekly, so
Right.
they know the reach that they're getting. So that's important, and so there's a lot of value in that, I think, for our
100%.
clients.
Oh, 100%.
And especially right now where we see $60,000 reduction in agents that the National Association of Realtors has reported for, I don't know if that's year to date.
A lot of people leaving.
I think that's year to date, weeding out some of the people that are, again, we talked about this.
Part-timers.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll say this. I mean, look, this is not a part-time business, and if you're trying to do it part-time, your results are going to be reflected in the fact that you're part-time.
Your results will be part-time.
Yeah.
Volume. But yeah, so we're looking at this chart here, and so for Sarasota County, Coldwell Banker for all of 2022, okay, we sold 2.33 billion. Our office.
Right.
Our office. Now the next one, we won't say the names, but the next jump is a significant jump. It's not a small jump at 1.81 billion, and that particular office has far more agents that they are including in that number, from Tampa to even further south of our marketplace.
Correct. So it's our tiny office on St. Armand's Circle that's
Lion
competing
share.
with our next competitor that is like all of their offices from Tampa to Naples.
Right.
And we're still beating them by $500 million.
A lot.
So it's a lot. And that is a lot of sales.
And then so from 1.81 it jumps down to 1.2. So market share, let's talk just a little bit more specifically. Why does market share truly matter? Outside of the brand itself, our little office, how many agents?
We're 150 to
Sure.
200, somewhere in that neighborhood. Keep in mind there's two offices that are combined. There's Longboat Key and St. Armand's that really all just work out of basically the same location. There's two offices.
Market share, why does that matter for a seller?
Well, it matters for a seller because first off, one of the first things we do is the day before we list it on the MLS, we push the properties out to our agents so that they can immediately say, oh wait, I've got a client looking for this.
Yeah.
And you may have an opportunity to do a very quick deal, and that's your best opportunity. The first week or two, if you can get a deal together, that's generally when you're going to see a full ask offer, full ask quick offer. If you're working with Joe Smith Realtor, who has it's him and two other agents that are working in the office, they're not going to have that global reach. They're not going to have, hey, I got this specific property. A lot of the agents in our office tend to specialize in something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which is good for a seller.
which is great for a seller,
It's
but
great for a seller and a buyer. Of
it's
course.
good for us to be able to say, I know that Shayla does Longboat Key, and she typically does $1.5 million to $5 million.
Yep. Let's call her.
Let me call her 3 or 4 agents before it even hits the market, so we can generate some buzz around the property. You can't do that if you have 2 agents in the office.
And you know, speaking to that, we also have just in-house platforms that we communicate amongst each other of coming soon or needs, like property, like buyer wants and needs, seller upcoming listings or potential listings. And so there's a lot of interaction, not just locally, but internationally. We've got the exclusive look, so we get properties from like the Bahamas, Jamaica, Italy, I mean really around the world. And so these are again our contacts that we see their names regularly, and like who are we gonna call?
Right.
We know these names, we know that they specialize in and have properties regularly coming up. Again, putting buyers with sellers and sellers with buyers, that's our forte, that's what we do as a brand, as agents, and experienced, knowledgeable negotiators for our clients, really at the end of the day. So the next slide was, dun dun dun. Oh, that was it. No, this was it.
That's it?
Right here. No. Sarasota County leading. Okay, Sarasota County, the entire county by brokerage for the first quarter of 2023.
Right.
Who's leading?
Where?
We are.
Of course we are.
574.14 million. The next jump down. Again, we won't name the company. 424 million.
Right.
So that's no small leap.
That's a
huge
huge
we've got a
jump.
big share.
We have a large market share.
Yeah.
We have a large amount of agents. We have, the vast majority of our agents are full-time. I don't really generally run into too many agents in our office that are, I do this full-time, but I'm trying to do real estate, or it just, and I don't know if, I truly don't know if that's just, we don't hire those types of agents. I don't know.
Right.
What I will tell you is the vast majority of the people that we interact with in our office are full-time agents.
Okay, now I'm going to bring up a topic that is maybe a little touchy, which is commission.
Yep.
And you didn't know I was going to go there.
No.
But why do we talk about the brand and the market share, and then when it comes time to listing it, we bring all the value to our clients? Like, if you're going to pay for a Porsche, you know that you're going to pay the premium. Right? Oh my God, these trucks. Sorry. You know that you're going to go into Porsche and you're going to pay for this car because it's the best, or whatever the brand, Maserati, whatever, it doesn't matter. So when you come to Coldwell Banker, you are going to get first class, full service, international expertise.
Correct.
And there is a price. Now, without getting into nitty gritty detail, there's something to be said about paying for quality.
100%.
Well, and if you want to go with someone that's discount, I would ask them, what are they taking out of their marketing? Because someone's going to pay for it. And at the end of the day, I think the seller's going to pay for it.
I think that. I also think that right off the bat, if I'm a seller and the agent is saying, I'll discount my commission, if they're willing to give up their own money that quickly, what makes you think they're going to fight harder for your money when it's your money that's on the line? And generally it's in a lot larger denomination than their tiny bit of commission.
And if I know I'm getting paid my full value, I will work so much harder knowing that I'm getting, this is what I do.
Right.
I will earn this, especially as the markets shift.
Right.
And I will work harder. It's just a mental thing as well as a financial thing. Would you agree?
I mean, what I would say is, I think that when people take that discounted broker, the commission, generally speaking, their attitude is, well, I'm just going to throw it on a lockbox, and I'm not going to show up for the showing. So what does it matter?
There's that incentive
to continue
go
pushing
the extra mile, pay for what they don't always tell you. They might not pay for the extra booths. They might not do the extra open house. They might not promote it on the platforms, the internal platforms.
Well, and furthermore, I'm gonna say something that I know is probably not going to be popular with a lot of people. The reality is that when agents get a client that's a buyer, a lot of times what the buyer will say to them is, send me 5 properties, 10 properties. I'll tell you which ones I like, and we'll go to them. The reality is, whether you like it or not, whether it's ethical or not, I'm not debating whether it's ethical or not, or it's right or not. The reality is that a lot of agents, I would even argue most agents, maybe better than half of the agents, are going to go through and eliminate all the properties that are not paying full commission.
Call it what it is.
And you can say, well, that's unethical and it's not right. And I agree with you. I agree with the argument that it's not ethical, but that's the reality of what happens. And what happens is when you discount your property, it's not going to get shown as unethical, period.
No.
And if you go back to my first point about it's all about getting eyeballs on the property and people in there to see it, if you eliminate a large chunk of the people because their agents aren't going to bring them to that property, you've eliminated a large portion of the market over just 1%. You're talking, if you have $1 million house, you're trying to save $10,000. 1% is $10,000 in $1 million deal. You're trying to save $10,000 in the deal, and it's costing you so much more opportunity to potentially get 2, 3, 4 buyers involved where they're bidding against each other and the price goes up. You're eliminating that opportunity.
It'll be very worth your while when you hire someone and pay them their full, what they are truly worth.
Truly worth.
It will come out in the price, and it will come out in the days on the market.
Well, and if you look at days on market in price, listed price versus what the property sold at, and you look at the day it was listed, days on market, on those reduced commission properties, they're always substantially longer days on market. So you have your carrying costs that you're paying over that time, and they're always substantially less than what the listing price was. Because by the time the buyer comes around, if the agent is sharp for that buyer, they're going to tell them this thing's listed at a discount commission. This is my clue that one, the agent on the other side probably isn't all that strong because that's how they got the listing, and two, it hasn't been shown that often. There haven't been as many eyeballs on the property. They probably don't have another offer. Let's come in with a lot lower offer. And that's what you're begging for.
Yes, and I will say, top agents who know really truly what they are bringing to the table, they will ask for that difference in the commission during negotiations. So just know you're not really getting away with the discount at the end, because the top agents who know that they are going to work probably harder for properties like that, that's generally speaking, that they're going to have to work harder for the client, which is fine, but they will write in their full commission. And so at the end of the day, it makes sense. You get what you pay for, right? Now to end this, as far as our reach, just to name a few things that where we advertise outside of just the Coldwell Banker brand, of course, is the Wall Street Journal, New York Times, the Rob Report, Mansion Global, and so many other things.
Yeah,
many other magazines and online syndications. Yep. We could talk all day long about Coldwell Banker, but at the end of the day, we want what's best for our clients. And I've been with Coldwell Banker for a while. I like this location. This is where we market to and sell the most. And for me, this is where I need to be and cater to those clients.
Well, and I'd say this, like in wrapping this up, if you're going to pay full commission, which we suggest because it's going to get you a better result, why would you not want to go with the #1 brand? If you're paying the same price, right? If you're going to pay the same price for a Ford or a Ferrari, why wouldn't you take the Ferrari? If you're making the same payment,
it's a no-brainer.
You might as well take the largest reach, the largest brand, be selling the most property, that has the most volume. Why would you take the discount? Like, you're going to pay the same amount of money. You might as well take the guys that are transacting.
I have a question. This is a little wrench in the video.
Sure.
How do you feel about people that just say, well, I'm going to hire my cousin? I know it can slice two ways.
This is my response to that. Do you want to help your cousin, or do you want to sell your house? Because you're probably going to do one and not the other.
Maybe the cousin is like the top of the market.
Let's say they're the best in the market. Okay, then maybe that's a little bit different. I don't know. But what I would argue about that, if you're the #1 agent in the market, are you going to be showing that property every single time? Personally? Probably not.
You're going to have a showing agent.
You're going to have a showing agent. Are they going to be doing your open houses? Probably not. That's what you're getting.
Possible, not probable.
Possible, not probable.
But of course, we want your business. We are here to provide you with market updates, talk about the local lifestyle here, not just all real estate, because I think the lifestyle is really important here. That's what we sell.
It's all lifestyle. We do.
And we want your business. Call us. We want buyers. We want sellers. And we're full time.